Will the audience please stand for the Wing Walker ROTC group to post the colors and playing of the national anthem?
Please be seated. Well, good afternoon, and let me be the first up here to say congratulations. And let me also say that fall commencement is the best, so you chose wisely. It really is. So my name's Colin Clay, and I serve as Executive Associate Dean for the College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences. And till mid-August, I actually served as interim dean of this college for a while. So today we're actually an occasion to celebrate a couple of things. First and foremost, of course, the accomplishments of this group that's right in front of us here, and celebrate with friends and family and all that you've done over the last 4, 5, I don't know how many years, but in that neighborhood here at Colorado State University. But also an opportunity to welcome a new dean to the College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences. So today it really is an absolute pleasure for me to introduce the new real dean of our college, Dr. Sue Vanderwood. And as she presides over her first of what will be many commencements as deans, I really can't think of any venue more suited to welcome Sue to our college than this event, because it truly is about the future. Now, I'll be brief, but I just want to say a few words about Sue Vanderwood and Dr. Vanderwood. She really embodies all that it means to be a teacher, mentor, scientist, and leader. She's been at CSU over about 32 years, and during this period of time, she's broke new ground, she's built new programs, has been a role model for all of us, including, of course, so many young women aspiring to a career in health sciences. I can also say that when Dr. Vanderwood was embarking in a career in veterinary medicine and scientific research, that was not necessarily at that time an easy thing for a woman to succeed in. So really an incredible story. She's had multiple roles, leadership roles. She served as Associate Dean for Research in our college, And as director of the One Health Institute here at CSU, she elevated this program from vision to action. As a veterinarian and a scientist, she's led a research program that continues to impact animal and human health. And this impact culminated in her being named a University Distinguished Professor, one of only, 10 or 12 University Distinguished Professors here at Colorado State University, and also elected as a member of the National Academy of Sciences. And for those of you who haven't heard of this organization, this is really one of the highest honors that can be bestowed on a scientist and is a recognition of a lifetime of scientific discovery and impact. Now she serves as the 11th dean of this college and the first woman in its 115-year history to lead our college. I could not be more proud to have the opportunity to work for and with Sue in her new role, and now me back in my old role. Let me also say that Sue is far more than a clinician, scientist, teacher, mentor, and leader. She genuinely cares about people. She is both passionate and compassionate. And while she is the consummate professional, she is humble, and she has a sense of humor that shines through, quite often at those moments when a bit of levity is most desperately needed. Now, I've known a lot of deans of this college, and in that regard, I can say that Dr. Van de Woon is the only one I know that not only has a head-to-toe turkey costume, but wears it at Thanksgiving as she hands out cookies to faculty, staff, and students. And I have pictures to prove that, so they may come up again someday. So it's an absolute pleasure for me to hand this commencement over to our new Dean of College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences, Dr. Sue Van de Woon.
Wow, thank you. That was this ceremony is not about me, and that was certainly a privilege to hear those wonderful words. So I appreciate that, Colin. So I'm going to go back and forth between wearing my glasses and not, because that's just one of my disabilities here. But I'm very excited to be giving my first commencement address and in this ceremony as dean. It's great to have it in the fall. I agree with Colin. These are the fun ones, the most fun ones. I'm a little bit nervous, but thanks to Kristen Brown, there's this big book up here with large font. So hopefully that'll help us get through the rough spots. But today we're really assembled here to celebrate and recognize the accomplishments of the amazing CVMBS graduates of fall 2022. That'll be the first of many applause signals that we have. An accomplishment of this magnitude is never done alone, and so we also celebrate, recognize, and thank our families, friends, faculty, and staff who have helped make today possible. We're so pleased that you're all here and traveled here, and thank you for making the time to be here to this event that has brought us all together. To get started, I'd like to welcome Dr. Naomi Nishi. She's our Assistant Dean of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion to the podium to begin the ceremony with the acknowledgement of the origins of the land that our university was built upon. Dr. Nishi.
Please join me in a moment of reflection as I share CSU's land acknowledgement. Colorado State University acknowledges with respect that the land we are on today is the traditional and ancestral homelands of the Arapaho, Cheyenne, and Ute nations and peoples. This was also a site of trade, gathering, and healing for numerous other Native tribes. We recognize the indigenous peoples as original stewards of this land and all the relatives within it. As these words of acknowledgement are spoken and heard, the ties nations have to their traditional homelands are renewed and reaffirmed. CSU is founded as a land-grant institution, and we accept that our mission must encompass access to education and inclusion, and significantly that our founding came at a dire cost to Native nations and peoples whose land this university was built upon. This acknowledgement is the education and inclusion we must practice in recognizing our institutional history, responsibility, and commitment. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nishi. Let's continue to reflect on these statements and make intentional changes to address these acknowledged past events. We'll now continue with some key introductions to those you see on the platform behind me. I'll ask each person to rise and remain standing through the introductions. Please hold your applause until all have been introduced. I'd like to present Mr. Brandon Hanlon, Vice President for University Operations and Chief Financial Officer, Dr. Colleen Cipriani, Vice President for Inclusive Excellence, Dr. Colin Clay, who you met, Professor and Executive Associate Dean, Dr. Sandra Quackenbush, Professor and Associate Dean for Academic and Student Affairs, Dr. Naomi Nishi, Assistant Dean of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, Dr. Naomi Ward, Professor and Head, Department of Microbiology, Immunology, and Pathology, Dr. Alexander Brandel, Associate Professor and Interim Department Head for Environmental and Radiological Health Sciences, Dr. Philip Quirk, Assistant Professor and Director of the Undergraduate Neuroscience Program, Dr. Quint Winger, Associate Professor and Associate Department Head for Biomedical Sciences. Please join me in applause in recognizing these group platform members. Thanks for joining me up here. You all may be seated now. We would now like to acknowledge those joining us today that have served our great nation. I ask that any active duty or veteran student in the commencement ceremony today stand at this time. And also, any active duty or veterans in the audience, please stand. Please join me in a round of applause to these active duty. Thank you so much for your service. It is now my pleasure to introduce our student that will be delivering the commencement address. We welcome Isabel Brintnall to the stage to deliver her remarks.
All right, good afternoon. I would like to speak about my experience as a first-generation student from a rural area coming to CSU. I am from a little mountain town called Newcastle, Colorado. If you don't know where that is, you are not alone. And if you do know where that is, you're probably one of the people in this room that is related to me. But what do I know about probability? I took statistics online. Anyways, I'm here to talk about my experience at CSU, not to gripe about a pandemic putting our education online for a year and a half. When I first got here, I couldn't believe that the freshman class entering with me had more people than the town I grew up in. What bewildered me more than that was that learning that to some people, Fort Collins was not a big city. This whole experience has been larger than life to me. Graduating from a university is something I have long dreamed about but was unsure was possible. When I was accepted to CSU, I was ecstatic, determined, and I would never admit it, but terrified. I started my classes knowing that I grew up sheltered by the mountains I grew up in, my hometown, and my own beliefs and assumptions about the world. Arriving at CSU, I realized I was not just sheltered, I was privileged. Growing up off the grid and many times without heat, electricity, or water, the last thing in the world I thought I would be was privileged. However, I realized this as I took classes here on leadership, identities, globalization, and diversity. I met people from all over the world. I left my comfort zone and realized just how small I was in such a large world. This realization allowed me to open my mind and heart to the experiences of others with humility and willingness to learn from them. Going to CSU has been a privilege to me and my family. It has provided me with opportunities to learn and grow. Before coming to CSU, I didn't know what diversity really meant. I have always been passionate about underserved populations. Wanting to improve the health of people in underserved populations is part of what drove me to attend CSU in the first place. My coursework and experiences here have shown me that the dynamics of privilege and oppression are what lead to whole populations being underserved and underrepresented. I am privileged in so many ways that I never understood before coming here. I feel that CSU has provided me with the tools to use my privilege to be a voice for change and advocate for everyone to have a seat at the table. Before coming to CSU, I thought I was going to change the world. Now I'm the one who has been changed. I look forward to being a part of making this world a better, more equitable place where people of all identities feel like they belong, are heard, and respected. This desire to make the world a better place is part of what drove me to study biomedical science. I enrolled here with a desire to make a difference in healthcare systems. The systems that I wanted to change were instantly so much more complicated and nuanced than I could have imagined. CSU has helped me learn how to deconstruct these systems and identify how they work and the systems of oppression and privilege that inform them. I have not only had access to classes about these issues, but also conversations with faculty, students, and student organizations on campus. This is the beauty of CSU. We are a community that spans the globe, takes on justice and inclusion. We are a place where people from all over the world belong. Whether you are from another continent or just a little girl from the Western Slope, I want to thank CSU for expanding my worldview and providing me with an incredible education. I hope all of us feel the same way, and we'll work together to make use of these opportunities to make the world a better place.
Thank you, Isabel. Hello, my name is Dr. Sandy Quackenbush, and I serve as the Associate Dean for Academic and Student Affairs. We are very proud to be here today celebrating our graduates as they make the transition to the next chapter in their lives. You will see that we have an incredibly impressive graduating class. Our students came to CSU from all over the country, from New York to Texas, California to Louisiana, and everything in between. We also have a large representation of students from our home state of Colorado and a student that joined us internationally from Portugal. We have 10 of our graduates that are first-generation students. A first-generation college student is one who is the first in their family to attend the university. A critical part of our land-grant mission is to provide access to education and to help ensure our community has the opportunity for our college education. The success of our first-generation students in our college and at our university is a point of pride for all of us. It is my pleasure to recognize students who are graduating with distinctions and honors. For students being honored, please stand as I call your name and remain standing until all your colleagues in all categories are introduced. I ask the audience members hold your applause until all have been recognized and are standing. Let me first start with the students graduating with highest distinction, and this is based upon their cumulative grade point average. Summa cum laude graduates are the top 1% of the class. Magna cum laude graduates are the next 3% of the class, and cum laude graduates are the next 6% of the class. These graduates may be wearing gold bachelor's regalia. So Caitlin Doyle, Cameron Schmeltzer, and Olivia Simpson-Klein are graduating summa cum laude. Hannah Lewis, Brandon Lowry, Alyssa Pesson, Jenna Randall, Kristen Rue, and Samantha Stokesbury are graduating cum laude. Candidates graduating as university honors scholars or disciplinary honors scholars must complete the honors program course requirements and a thesis while maintaining an overall 3.5 GPA. These students may be wearing green bachelor's regalia. These students, if they would please stand at this time as a group and be recognized as candidates for graduation as honors scholars. These students will be recognized individually as they walk across the stage to receive their diploma. Please join me in applauding the accomplishments of this group of students today. Okay. Please be seated. Dr. Cipriani, it is my pleasure to confirm that each of these students has completed the degree requirements for their program of study and have been recommended by the faculty members in that discipline to receive their academic degree.
Thank you, Dr. Quackenbush. I too, like Dean Vanderbilt, am excited about the large font. Let's see, I did not bring my glasses, so. College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences graduating class of 2022, please rise for the conferring of your degrees. It is my sincere honor to formally declare on behalf of and with the authority of the Board of Governors of the Colorado State University System, I hereby confer the Bachelor of Science degree on each of you, together with all of the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereunto. Guests, family members, and colleagues, please join me in congratulating these wonderful graduates on this significant achievement. Congratulations.
Okay, I think you can see. So will our commencement marshal, Chase Weldon, please escort the graduates to the platform. This fall, we are honored to have faculty and staff members nominated to read the statements for the students that they've prepared. We are joined by Dr. Christiane McGee, who will announce for Biomedical Sciences and Environmental Health. Mr. Pete Justice will announce for Microbiology, and Mr. Elliot Cooper will read for Neuroscience. Each will read statements about the graduates as they cross the stage. Please hold applause until all graduates from that department have been recognized. On behalf of the entire College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences, I extend to all of our Fall 22 graduates congratulations for a job well done. We share your sense of achievement, pride, and satisfaction on the significant accomplishment. Okay. Actually, there's a few pages missing here, but that's okay. We're in good shape. So, Dr. McGee. And the department, Dr. Winger will present the diploma, and we'll have congratulations by the college and university personnel. Okay.
All righty. So the following graduates of the Department of Biomedical Sciences will again be greeted by Associate Department Head Dr. Quint Winger. Congratulations will be offered by college and university officials. First up, Isabel Brentnall from Newcastle, Colorado, will be applying to MD and DO school programs to pursue a career in family medicine. Julia Love from St. Louis, Missouri, is accepting a job with Diamond Pet Foods and moving to Arkansas. Hannah K. Lewis from Houston, Texas, plans on attending medical school in Texas in the fall of 2023 to pursue an MD degree and eventually become a physician. Brandon Lee Lowry from Faraday, Louisiana, is starting his PhD program January 2023 here at CSU. He will be studying virtual reality-based anatomy education. Tristan Book from Gypsum, Colorado, will be furthering her education in the sciences by attending physician assistant school. Ashlyn Marie Churchwell from Lyman, Colorado, will be working as a medical assistant and phlebotomist for Lincoln Health. In the future, she would like to attend school to become a doctor of osteopathic medicine for primary care in rural communities. Alyssa S. Pessin from Granite Bay, California, plans to work in a research laboratory, start graduate school applications, and spend some time traveling. Fallon Rose Stockley from Berthoud, Colorado, is hoping to get accepted to the vet school at CSU for the fall 2023 term. Samantha Jane Stokesbury from Twin Falls, Idaho, plans to continue genetics research as she moves towards doing gene therapy research to help cure people living with genetic diseases. Dawson Best from Maple Valley, Washington will continue working as a clinical assistant before applying to physician assistant program in the near future. Sydney Peterson from Crested Butte, Colorado plans to travel and gain clinical experiences before attending professional school. Caitlin Reinhart from San Antonio, Texas will be attending the Police Academy in January as part of the North Glen Police Department. Gabrielle Catherine Murdoch from Castle Pines, Colorado plans on doing some work for the Peace Corps and then attending graduate school for genetic counseling. Cameron Schmelzer from Westminster, Colorado will continue working as a research associate before continuing her education in graduate school. Grace Malatesta from Rogers, Arkansas will be working for UC Health as a phlebotomist. Amber Nicole Allensbach from Phoenix, Arizona will be attending pharmacy school for the next 4 years to earn her PharmD degree and become a pharmacist. Please join me once again in congratulating all of our BMS graduates. So the following graduates from the Department of Environmental and Radiological Health Sciences will be greeted by Interim Department Head Dr. Alexander Brendel and Undergraduate Director Dr. Joshua Schaefer. Congratulations will be offered by college and university officials. Hannah Moyman from Centennial, Colorado did an internship with Boulder County's Hazardous Waste Management Facility. It was a great experience, but she plans on moving to Denver to pursue a career in another sector of the public health field. Kelly Adair Fain Peterson from Littleton, Colorado, plans to relax for a few months and continue working her current job. She will also be looking for opportunities within her field and hopefully find her dream job. Michael B. Desch from Fort Collins, Colorado, will be working at CSU as an environmental health professional. Please join me in congratulating all of our environmental health graduates.
The following graduates of the Department of Microbiology, Immunology, and Pathology will be greeted by Department Head Dr. Naomi Ward. Congratulations will be offered by college and university officials. Olivia Simpson Klein from Louisville, Colorado, plans on pursuing a master's degree, striving for a career in functional medicine. Jenna Colleen Randall from Colorado Springs, Colorado, will be working at Colorado State University performing research on West Nile virus while applying to medical school. Kristen Mary Rue of Golden, Colorado, plans to ski a lot and then attend graduate school. Caitlin Murphy from Fishers, Indiana, will be attending a Master's of Education program to obtain her teacher's licensure to teach middle school science. Lucero Guadalupe Castorina Casillas from Denver, Colorado, will be working at Denver Crime Lab in their Forensic Biology and DNA unit for a year and then go to graduate school for forensic science. Caitlin James from Longmont, Colorado, plans to attend graduate school next fall in a microbiology-related program. Elaine Caitlin Warren from Windsor, Colorado, is currently applying for grad school in hopes of pursuing a PhD and working in research. Kayla M. Davidas from Broomfield, Colorado is continuing school and getting a master's in microbiology. Carolyn Keating from Loveland, Colorado is continuing school with a master's in microbiology. Riley James Anderson from Bishop, California plans to pursue a master's degree in microbiology and a career in biotechnology. Annalise Margaret Rose Forsyth from Cheyenne, Wyoming will be continuing her education in microbial research. Kiana Renee Bonilla from Grand Junction, Colorado plans on attending veterinary school to become a local wildlife veterinarian. She wants to partner with the Colorado Parks and Wildlife to work with their conservation efforts. Aaron David Offerman from Fort Collins, Colorado is continuing research at the CSU Veterinary Teaching Hospital, going into the private sector for a biotech research position, and then going on to graduate school for a PhD in pathology. Please join me in congratulating our microbiology graduates.
The following graduates are from the undergraduate neuroscience program. This program is jointly sponsored by the College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences and the College of Natural Sciences. Graduates will be greeted by Director Dr. Philip Quirk, and congratulations will be offered by college and university officials. Dorian Berg Harry from Loveland, Colorado, is taking a gap year to work, live life, travel, and then off to med school afterwards. Lauren Elizabeth Hutchings from Cooperstown, New York, plans to apply to graduate programs. Hannah Elizabeth Contorno from Castle Rock, Colorado, is going to graduate school for radiological sciences, followed with getting to medical school to get an MD and pursue radiology. Martha Angelica Sable from LaPorte, Colorado, would like to continue with higher education in biomedical sciences and return to a healthy sleep schedule. Judita Pawlikowski from Lockport, Illinois, would like to attend medical school and pursue a career in sports neurology. Shelby Finelli from Colorado Springs, Colorado, plans to pursue her PhD in neuroscience. William Wyatt Pankowski from Fountain, Colorado, plans on taking the spring semester off and then apply to medical school at Texas Tech University for fall admission. Matthew Frederick Lomchek from Mount Vernon, Illinois, will be entering the workforce and perhaps one day return to education. Philippine Chauvet from Walnut Creek, California, will take a gap semester and go back to France for a little bit. Afterwards, she will find research or a job for the rest of the semester. Once fall semester of 2023 begins, she will start grad school. Sofia Machado Dionisio from Lisbon, Portugal, plans to apply and get into an internship. At the same time, she wants to apply to master's programs. She will also be going back home to be with her family. Caitlin Colleen Doyle from Parker, Colorado, plans on attending graduate school to study clinical counseling and dance therapy so she can help people using movement and connection. Shane Cosen from Timnath, Colorado, will continue his pursuit of neurosurgery and cybernetics. Margaret L. Reed from Westfield, New Jersey, wants to continue human factors research as well as work in metabolomics research. Please join me in congratulating our neuroscience graduates.
Yes, right here. Yep. Okay, well, I got a little bit ahead of myself, but now, on behalf of the entire College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences, I extend to all of our fall graduates congratulations for a well-done job. We share your sense of achievement, pride, and satisfaction on this significant accomplishment. Now I would like to pay tribute to a vital force in this university, a force of which each of you receiving a degree today is now part of. I'm referring to the Colorado State University Alumni Association. I'm pleased to call upon Dr. Philip Quirk, a Colorado State alumnus, to induct our newest alumni.
Hello, my name is Phil Quirk, and there's a blank here for the years ago that I graduated. Let's just say it was a while back. At that point, I was sitting where you are, holding my diploma from the college. I'll never forget how excited and proud I felt to finally get that diploma in my hand. But I also remember feeling a little sentimental, and to be honest, slightly nervous. Nervous about leaving this beautiful campus and moving away from some of the greatest times of my life here at Colorado State. It may be time for you all to write that next chapter, tackle that next adventure, and live your purpose. Everyone sitting here has a different path and a different future. But whether you stay in Fort Collins or travel to the far ends of the world, you all have one important thing in common with each other and more than 250,000 others out there that have come before you. You are now all alumni of Colorado State University. The class of 2022 has one more common experience, earning your degree during a global pandemic. We hope you are proud of your strength and resilience and carry it with you always. When you leave this campus, be assured your university will not leave you. No matter where your personal and professional journey takes you, know that the CSU Alumni Association, your college, and your former professors will be here for you every step of the way. Based on personal experience, I promise you the pride, excitement, and nervousness you're feeling right now will provide fuel for the road ahead. But eventually those feelings will change. They'll deepen and mix with memories and turn into nostalgia. As that happens, remember that this special place will always be here. It will always be your home. Like those rows of American elms on the Oval, you're rooted here. I'd like to be the first to welcome you to the alumni family. Congratulations on a job well done.
Thank you, Phil. I think it's my turn now. Somebody will come up here with a coat hook if it's not. I would like to now take some time to recognize a very special group of attendees today that we've not specifically called out, the faculty and staff of the College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences. All the graduates today had a significant portion of their didactic and laboratory curriculum delivered during a pandemic, no surprise to any of you. In 1 week's time in March 2020, our faculty and staff reorganized lectures and laboratory work in order to deliver it in virtual format. While our efforts were not perfect, it is difficult to describe what this turn of events was like from the faculty and staff perspective. Lesson plans redrawn, developing familiarity with Zoom, learning best practices of teaching to a screen of small squares, and many without identifiable names. This was tremendously challenging to our faculty in particular. Challenges to students were also significant. I'll talk about those later. However, I want to note that while many faculty were concurrently managing their own young children in virtual K-12 lessons and other complex family issues, they executed their educational duties with grace, dedication, and tremendous caring, with the intent to provide the best circumstances possible for the students here today. Will faculty and staff please stand so we can give them a round of applause for doing their absolute best during what was certainly one of the most challenging assignments of their career. Thank you for all you've done, and clearly there are other people not here today that contributed to that, but recognize them as well. Finally, one more thanks. I'm speaking as the proud mother of 3 adult children that have collectively graduated from 5 different colleges and in different ceremonies, so I think it's appropriate that you, our new graduates, show the appreciation to some of the other individuals who've contributed so much to your achievements. Will the parents, spouses, family, and friends of the graduates please stand? And graduates, I ask that you take this opportunity to show the gratitude for the encouragement and support of these amazing persons who celebrate with you today. This is when I would be embarrassing my children doing some kind of weird yell, so. Good job. So, I'm not sure I mentioned this yet, but I am fully of the belief that the College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences is the best college of those disciplines in the world. And one of the reasons we hold this distinction is because we're possibly the only veterinary college right now that has an undergraduate program. And not only do we have our program, but our program is flourishing. This fall, we counted 974 undergraduates in either the neuroscience or biomedical sciences degrees. That's fantastic. It's a lot of growth over the last 2 decades. As we heard from Dr. Quackenbush, these students earn tremendous honors academically. They're also very active working in the laboratories of the faculty of the different departments, and many of them participate in course-based undergraduate research that allows real-world experiences that'll propel you into all the wonderful careers we just heard. 41 of the approximately 50 students here today were admitted in fall of 2018 or 2019. I've recounted in detail what our faculty faced and managed to accomplish during spring 2020 and beyond. And without further belaboring the fact that this was likely the weirdest time we have ever experienced, I'd like to thank you, the students, for your persistence, patience, resilience, and grace. It was certainly a challenge for you, and congratulations on getting there. So my final comments today might seem a little strange topic to talk about, but I think it's an important one, and that's the topic of failure. And I'm motivated to do this that since I've become the dean a few months ago, I've noticed that many persons, particularly students, seem to consider folks who take on titles that sound lofty, like the dean, that we do not experience failure. But I can assure you that is not the case. And I'd like to tell you a little bit about a couple of the failures I've had, specifically what I learned from my failures. And that's just in case any of you ever have any failures and want to know what I did about mine. So I graduated from high school in a small town in Virginia and attended a very prestigious engineering school in California. And at that school, everybody was required to take 2 years of physics and 2 years of math. I'd been very successful at Clark County High School. I was co-valedictorian, and like many of you, I thought that a B+ was a bad grade. Imagine how I felt to learn over my first winter break that I had failed my freshman physics exam and the class. In those days, long distance was too expensive to make a call, and email and personal computers didn't exist, so I had to wait until January to go back to school and learn what that meant for my future education and career. I met with my GTA, who was a first-year graduate student in physics, whom I thought was an incredibly advanced scholar. And he reviewed my very lacking performance on identifying the forces that were at play when balls and other objects rolled down inclined planes. I spent the week reworking my answers and was relieved to earn a C or possibly a D, but I passed. So what did I learn about that? So obviously I learned maybe I shouldn't major in physics. But more than that, this topic was not something that really appealed to me. It was not something I had the intuition or the knowledge or the really skills to pursue. And in reflecting, I had really enjoyed my intro to chemistry and biology classes. These were much more intuitive. I enjoyed the problem solving and participating in the labs on these topics. I was particularly excited about the relatively new field of molecular biology. So my failure in physics helped me to hone my area of study and put me on a path of paying attention to what I was good at, to what I enjoyed, which almost always correlates with what I'm good at. And this has become my approach to making important decisions, maybe even to apply for and accept the dean position here. Secondly, and probably more importantly, I learned what to do in the face of failure. You have to have emotional experiences, but you shouldn't give up. I approached my TA, who graded my exam, to see how I could improve. My earnestness and being open to admitting I needed help gave me the opportunities that ultimately changed my F to a P. It didn't mean I was really any better at answering those questions about forces of an object on an inclined plane, but I had illustrated to my TA, and more importantly to myself, that I cared about my future and I was willing to accept my limitations as a scholar of physics and be vulnerable and to do the best I could to get to an acceptable but not perfect outcome. This is really important, acceptable but not perfect, especially for those of you who may be perfectionists, and I assume that quite a few of you are. The number of failures I've had during my career has been immense. I looked at the CSU database that logs how many grants you've applied for during your career here. And I've applied for almost 180 grants in my 3+ years as a faculty, 3+ decades as a faculty member. 64 of these, less than 1/3, were ultimately funded. Most of these after rejections and multiple rewrites, following guidance of peer reviewers and colleagues. Similarly, many manuscripts that I submit are rejected or need to be significantly revised and rewritten, but these ultimately improve the content of my scholarly work and have expanded my knowledge in the field. Biomedical research careers are really built around review of our failures, followed by a redo. Those of you who've done lab work, how many times did your experiment work the way you thought it would the first time? Right. Never, never. How many of you had a hypothesis that ended up being true before you actually did the work? Maybe a little bit more. But the point here is that biomedical research, and I mean research, requires failures and retries. When I face failure, I have a predictable set of immediate emotional reactions. Swearing, complaining, crying, going for a walk. But once these emotions boil over, my flight or fight cascade of neuropeptides subsides, I look for clear paths to go forward. This makes me feel better, makes me feel relief or even joy, and I'm able to take some positive next steps. This has typically resulted in me eventually finding optimism, hope, and ultimately success. Failure has been a good tool for me to help mentor my students. I counsel students who have perceived failures that they should not feel ashamed or defeated, but look inward and find the pathways that leads out of that dark space and into a better place of peace and well-being. My mentees uniformly have found success and well-being when they've taken these new pathways, whether these were changes in career, relationship, venue, or maybe even just what they're gonna have for dinner. So don't be afraid to make changes based on your failures. You all have many, many bright paths ahead of you. It was probably hard to choose what you're going to do or to make that decision in a year after you're done skiing your hearts out for this winter. But when you can and when it makes sense, use your failures as beacon for how to navigate towards success. This is one of the important things your education can and has taught you. You can and will persevere through your failures, and you will have many, many successes that will follow from what you have learned as a student and now a graduate and alumni from Colorado State University. With enough of the right failures, you may even become the dean of a college of veterinary medicine and biomedical sciences sometime. I now ask that the members of the audience please remain seated while the platform group, students, and faculty leave the ballroom as the Colorado State alma mater is performed by the CSU Brass Ensemble. Thank you for being with us today for this commencement ceremony. I look forward to meeting the graduates in the lobby following the ceremony, and best wishes for a wonderful winter holiday. Thank you.